30-minute yoga with Andi. Thank you for joining me today. This is a channel that we have been talking about starting for a long time. With current situations, people staying at home without access to gyms and studios, we thought now was a great time to start this channel to bring you some yoga into your homes. This is Chloe. She'll be joining me maybe. Today we're going to be talking about opening up our front body. We're counteracting sitting today, essentially. Staying home. Probably a lot of us are sitting more than we normally do, or maybe you have a job where you're sitting a lot, which tends to be tightening hip flexors, chest, shoulders. It starts to pull us forward. It creates back problems, neck problems. So we're going to counteract that with some opening of our front body. If you do have any back issues, careful here because we will be doing some gentle back bending. If that bothers your back, don't do it, or take a modified version. You can always take breaks, sit in child's pose. So just be mindful, always honor your body and listen to what your body needs with any yoga practice. So we'll get started on the floor. We're gonna lay down to start. All right, Chloe, you gotta go. Thanks, we'll see you later. Good girl, bye-bye. So again, we are opening up our front body, working on shoulder and chest opening and hip flexor opening. Careful to take care of your back. If this bothers your back at all, to do gentle back bending, take modifications, or skip those parts completely. Take rest in child's pose or any position that is comfortable for you. Okay. So we're starting today on our back. Lying down, knees bent. Feet hip width apart, palms facing up. If it's more comfortable for you to let the knees fall in towards each other, you may. I'm going to settle in on the mat. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Settling into the space. Tuning in with your breath, and just observe your breath. What is it doing naturally? Notice any areas where you may be holding tension. Try and send some breath into those areas. See if you can allow those areas to relax and soften. See if you can make your inhales even with your exhales. Maybe by counting. Inhaling to the count of 4. And exhaling to the count of 4. As you're breathing, we'll cultivate some gratitude. So just bring your mind to something, someone, some group of people that you're thankful for. Maybe you're thankful for just your breath, for your body, for being able to practice today. Keeping that gratitude in mind, on your next inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling, all the way to the back of the room behind you. And then gently bend the elbows, bringing them into goalpost or cactus. If your knees are buckled in, take them apart about hip width. And if you are interested in playing the playlist, you can press play now. Take an inhale. As you exhale, allow the knees to fall to the left. As you inhale, bring them back to center. And exhale, knees to the right. Inhaling through center. Exhaling to the left. Inhaling through center. Exhaling to the right. Continue with your own breath. It can be in your own timing. If your neck feels healthy, you can take your gaze opposite your knees. So gaze left as knees fall right. Gaze right as knees fall left. Do one more round. And coming back to center. Slowly take right knee into your chest. Squeeze it tight. You can stay here. If you want a little more stretch, you can straighten out the left leg. Feeling the stretch through your left hip flexor. If you do have your knee bent, straighten it out. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, right hand palm up, taking the knee across your body. Maybe it touches the floor, maybe it doesn't, that's okay. And if neck's feeling healthy, gaze to the right. Allow your right shoulder to feel heavy. Inhale, bring the knee back into your chest. Give it a squeeze with both hands, and then left knee will join, hugging both knees, stretching through the low back. Take right foot to floor. If you want more of a stretch, need a little more here, straighten out the right leg, allowing right hip flexor to stretch. As you inhale, left palm face up. As you exhale, knee over to the right. Gaze to the left. Again, if neck feels healthy. And allow the left shoulder to be heavy. Allow that to open. Inhale. Bring the knee back to center. Again, hugging both knees, squeezing them into the chest. Maybe you'd like to rock here a little bit. And then when you're ready, rock to one side and come up to a seated position. Any comfortable seated position. Now, you don't need any props for this practice. If you would like to take blocks, blocks are a nice tool. They give us some height, allow for a little more mobility. If you don't have blocks, you could use soup cans, two things that are even. If being on your knees at any point bothers you, you can take a blanket. It doesn't have to be a yoga blanket. It could be a towel or some small blanket that you could fold and unfold for different depths. And then we will be doing some shoulder opening, which not everyone has the mobility in their shoulders. So you could take a strap. It does not have to be a yoga strap. It could be a belt. It could be a towel rolled up, anything like that. And use that behind you for a little room. You could also just modify your grip for clasping hands, wrists, or forearms behind the body. I'll remind you when we get there. So I personally like to sit on a block. Feeling your sit bones. This allows for a little more room in the hips. We tend to have tight hips, especially I do for sure. Tight hips, and it gives a little relief in the low back. So sitting up nice and tall, take both arms up, inhale. And as you exhale, take your left hand down to the floor. Keep your sit bones heavy on the block or floor. Bend into the elbow, lengthen. If neck feels healthy, gaze towards the ceiling. Inhale, bringing both arms up. Right arm reaches to floor. Bend into the elbow. Hips remain heavy on the block or floor. Gaze to the ceiling. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale through heart center. Hands can rest. Take the shoulders gently up to the ears. Pull them back. and slightly down, allowing them to rest. Taking your left ear to your left shoulder, just a gentle stretch. Inhale here, exhale, drop chin straight down, looking to the floor, chin to chest. Inhale, lift your head. Exhale, right elbow. Sorry, that's not your elbow, that's your ear. To your shoulder. Remember to listen to your body. We don't want to feel any pain. It's a good stretch, yes. Pain, no. Inhale. Exhale, drop chin to chest, looking straight down. Inhale, lift your gaze. Taking arms out into cactus. As you inhale, broaden across the collarbone, little arch in the spine. Inhale. Exhale, bring palms together, elbows touch, a little bit of a cat spine here. Inhale, little bit of a cow spine, little arch. Exhale, rounding gently, elbows and palms touch. Inhale, lengthen up, and exhale, round. Inhale, take arms out. Now we're going to extend and bring our hands behind our back, interlacing fingers, working, rolling the shoulders gently back, working towards straight elbows. Again, if the mobility's not there, bend the elbows, modify your grip with grabbing palms, wrists, or forearms behind the back, or take a strap, towel, belt, and hang on to that behind the back. Lifting the heart, inhaling, knuckles reaching down towards the earth. Inhale, and exhale, release. Taking your right hand, thumb pointing down, we're going to bring that into a half bind. So that right hand is going to be near your left hip. If you want to even grab that a little bit, bring it over, you can. Making sure we're not collapsing in the right shoulder, but that we are lifted. Inhale here, exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Keeping the head tilted, turn your nose and chin down to look at your left knee. Inhale, lifting your gaze and releasing your arm. Left side, thumb down, bring that behind the back, towards your hip, not towards the center of your back, towards your hip, like going into your right pocket here. Shoulder back, inhale. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. And then nose and chin pointing down to look at your knee. Inhale, lift the gaze and head, release the arm. All right, let's meet in table. We set those aside for later. In table, we want our shoulders right above our wrists. We want knees right below hips, fingers spread. Little cat-cow here. Inhale, lift the crown of your head, tailbone tilts up. Exhale, push the earth away, rounding as high as we can. Inhale, lift, shining the chest and heart forward. Exhale, cat spine. Inhale, broadening in the collarbone. And exhale, creating space between our shoulder blades. One more, inhale. And exhale. Navel drawing upward. Back to neutral spine. We're going to walk our hands off our mat onto our fingertips. Inhale here. Exhale, drag the hips to the right, softening the gaze and forehead to the floor. Lengthening from hip to your armpit, lengthening, breathing into that right side body. Inhale, coming up. And exhale, walk the hands off to the right, up on the fingertips. Inhale. And exhale, dragging hips to the left. Breathing into left side body. Inhale, coming back to center, to neutral table. Again, fingers spread. Careful not to allow the fingers to roll in. We don't want an internal rotation in our shoulders, and then not to roll out too far either. Peace fingers really should be pointing towards the top of our mat. Take your hands about 1 hand length forward, pressing into the base of all the knuckles, base of all the fingers. Curl the toes underneath you. Inhale, lift your knees. Exhale, push into your hands, sending your sit bones up and back towards downward dog. Heels do not need to reach the floor, but we are lengthening in that direction. Shoulders are broad, neck is heavy. If you'd like, you can take some movement here, shifting side to side, pedaling the feet, opening the calves, back of the legs, and then both heels reaching. Gaze is between the feet. Inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look towards the top of the mat. Inhale, tiptoe to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Knees should be gently bent, hands on the shins. If you have the mobility, they can touch the floor. Really lengthen through the crown of your head and your tailbone. Sitting creates this kind of forward motion. It's very common to have like a halfway lift where we're rounded. You want to really press, keeping the knees gently bent, going for that flat back. If you had tail feathers, they'd be pointing towards the back of the room, not tucked down. Again, crown of the head reaching forward. Inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. If you can't touch the floor, bend your knees, or you can take blocks in front of you, placing your hands on the blocks. Inhale, crown of the head reaches, arms sweep up, hands touch at the top, and exhale, hands to heart. All right, we're starting at the top of our mat in Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet are parallel, hip width. Everything is nice and in line. Ears, shoulders, ribs, hips. Standing tall. Going into our sun salutation A's. Inhale, arms reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Forward fold, bending knees to touch floor or hands on blocks. Gentle bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening. Exhale, plant hands straight below the shoulders. Step 1 and then 2 feet back to plank. First time through, everybody drop to knees. At any point, you can take this modification for a plank. It's available at any point. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, control down to your belly. Elbows hugging into the ribs. Onto the tops of your feet. Roll your shoulders away from your ears. Inhale, baby cobra. Elbows pulled back, collarbone is broad. This is, again, a modification for upward facing dog. It's available to you at any time. Inhale. Exhale, soften. Push into the hands, curl the toes. Send the hips up and back, down dog. Pushing the earth away, make sure the head is released. Inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, tiptoe to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Take that length in your spine. Exhale, deeper forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, crown of the head. Arms reach up, touching at the top. Exhale, hands to heart. Tadasana. Let's do that again. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, plant both hands back, step back into plank. Stay on your toes or drop to knees, either one is cool. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, control it. One smooth movement down to your belly, on the tops of your feet. Roll the shoulders away from your ears. First starting in cobra. Collarbone is broad. You can stay here, or if it's in your practice, standing on top of your hands. Upward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, lift the hips, flip the feet, down dog. Few breaths. Inhale to find some length. Exhale to find depth. Inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, tiptoe to the top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, crown of the head rises, up through, hands touch. Exhale, hands to heart. One more round. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant both hands, step feet back into plank. Inhale, forward. Exhale to belly, nice and controlled. On the tops of the feet, roll the shoulders. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, lift the hips, flip the feet, down dog. If you need to give a little gentle bend in the knees for down dog, you can. Inhale, rise to toes. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Inhale, tiptoe, top of the mat. Halfway lift, hands on earth or shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, hands touch at the top. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands to heart. So we are back in mountain pose at the top of our mat. If you want to use blocks or a prop such as a block, now would be the time to take it onto the mat about shoulder width. We're standing tall. We're going to take our hands behind our back, interlacing fingers, rolling the shoulders, working towards straight elbows. Again, if you cannot straighten the elbows, keep them bent. Modify your grip or take a strap, towel, or belt holding behind. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, slight bend in the knee, hinge at the hips, forward fold. We're going to hang here for a moment. You can be generous and bend the knees. Pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Shake your head yes and no. Bend the elbows. Inhale, halfway lift. Straight spine. Exhale, plant your hands on earth or block. Big step back with your left foot to find lunge. Your right knee should be right over your ankle, perpendicular to the mat. We don't want to be jutting out over our toes. If you're on blocks, they are right below your shoulders and not out here. Hand plants to earth or block. Inhale, right arm into the air for a revolved lunge. We're aiming nose to thumb alignment here. If your neck does not feel healthy, this doesn't feel good in your neck, gaze can be down. Feeling that length in the left hip flexor. Inhale. Exhale, unwind, returning to lunge. Before we go on, check your feet out. Make sure you are hip width apart and you haven't gotten onto like a tightrope situation. This is going to be hard to balance. So feet should be hip width, maybe even a little wider. Bearing down, creating a strong base. Slowly lift the shoulders, bringing hands to your thigh. Okay, if this is too intense, you can bend the knee gently in the back or drop it down. Otherwise, we are going for crescent pose. Inhale, arms up. We should be lifted through our front body, tailbone pointing down. Lifting and lengthening, arms reaching up. Inhale. Exhale, returning to earth or blocks. Drop the back knee, half splits. Inhale here. Exhale, straighten the right leg. If you need to wiggle that foot forward, you can. Make sure right hip is over the knee and we're not sitting back, creating knee pressure there. Pulling the right hip back. Blocks can come with you here under the arms. Inhale. Exhale, bend into the knee. Pressing both hips forward, lengthening through that left hip flexor. Inhale, arms up. Anjaneyasana. Option, taking hands behind the back in any variation that you're using. Inhale, lift the heart. Bend the elbows, inhale, arms up. Exhale, returning to blocks or earth. Lift the knee. Inhale, step forward, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Stay here a moment. Hands on blocks or earth. Shaking head yes and no. Switching sides of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands on earth or block. Step the right foot back into lunge. Check in with the knee, knee over ankle. Plant the right hand down on block or earth. Inhale, left arm into the air. Thumb to nose alignment. Right hip flexor opening. Inhale and exhale, return to lunge. Check in with your feet, make sure you're hip width and you haven't gotten into a tightrope situation. Creating a strong base in the feet. Right heel remains up. Inhale, bringing the arms first to thigh. Checking in. Back leg is strong. Slight bend if you need to. Lifting through the front body. Tailbone reaching down. Opening up that hip flexor. Inhale, arms up for crescent. Inhale. Exhale, arms float to blocks or earth. Drop the back knee. Inhale and exhale, Ardha Hanuman, half splits, left hip pulling down, back, tail feathers, if we had tail feathers, pointing back as much as possible, hands below shoulders. That's Quentin right there, sleeping in the corner. Bend into the knees, sending hips forward, reaching arms up, Anjaneyasana. Option to open shoulder, working towards straight elbows, heart lifts. Bend the elbow, inhale, arms up. Exhale, returning to blocks or earth, lift the back knee. If you have blocks under your hands, take them off to the sides of your mat for a moment. Hands plant straight down from your shoulders. Step back to plank. Make sure you are not hanging out in your shoulders, but you're lifted out of the shoulders, upper back, lifting towards the ceiling. Option for vinyasa, if you want to skip this part and meet us in down dog, you can. Knees drop if you'd like that modification. Otherwise, we're on our toes. Inhale forward. Exhale to belly or catch chaturanga if that's in your practice. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Lift the hips, flip the feet. Down dog. Few breaths here. Fingers are spread. Inhale to find some length in this pose. Exhale to find depth. Bend your knees gently in this position. And now push into your hands. Push the earth away, sending your torso a little closer towards your legs, and then maybe working back into those straighter legs. Little shoulder opening here. Inhale from down dog. You're going to bend your knees, bring them down to table. And we're going to make our way onto our belly. You can do that however you need to. Otherwise you can kind of just shift forward, control yourself down. I'm going to scoot back a little bit. So we're going to take our hands and bring them palms up on our sides. We're going to do a little gentle back bending. Remember with back bending, it's not about how high you come up off the floor, but it's about lengthening from your tailbone through the crown of your head. So, gaze is down at the top of your mat. Press your pelvis into the floor first, anchoring your pelvis down. As you inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head, lifting shoulders, chest off the mat. Well, hello. Are you going to join us? This is Chloe. Hi. From here, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, my God. Oh, you're the sweetest. Thank you. From here, okay. From here, thank you. See you later. Palms are off. If it feels okay from here, we're going to lift the feet, lengthening from the tips of our toes through the crown of our head. Collarbone is broad. If you have the mobility, interlace the fingers, working towards straight elbows, lifting the chest, pulling through our arms. This is locust. Oh, it's your turn. Hello, Quentin. This is Quentin. Inhale. Oh, hello. Exhale, soften down. Hi, buddy. Take the hands forward. I'm going to take our right hand, bending the right knee. Hello. Grab for your foot or ankle. If this does not happen for you mobility-wise, you can take a towel, a strap, a belt, wrap it around your ankle and pull. Otherwise, again, pressing pelvis into the floor. Careful not to let your knee flare out. They don't need to be touching, but you want to be about hip width with the knees. Taking a stretch through the quad, pelvis pressing into the floor. You're welcome to stay here. Otherwise, you're going to go into half bow, Ardha Dhanurasana, if you would like to go for that. Grip here is fine, thumb down. If you want to go more into an external rotation, a little more shoulder, you're going to take your hand on top of the toes, thumb pointing up on the big toe side of your foot here. Left arm out, pelvis presses into the floor. Inhale, kick that right foot back, lifting chest, opening through your heart. Knee lifted, inhale, exhale, slowly down and release. And get that little wiggle, little shake out. And start for the left side. First, just bending the knee, grabbing that with your hand or strap or belt if you need to. Pelvis pressing into the floor. Just allowing that hip flexor and quad to open. You're welcome to hold this stretch, take a break, or going into half bow. Grip can stay where it is, thumb down. More intense shoulder stretch is external rotation. Thumb pointing up on the big toe side of your foot. Right arm out. Press your pelvis into the floor. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head. Left foot kicks back, opening up. Ardha Dhanurasana. Lengthening and inhale. Exhale, soften down. Can rest your head if you want. Bend the knees. Little bit of windshield wiper to release low back. Coming down, take hands near the ribs. Press up into table. Take the knees wider than the hips. Toes touching. Tuck the tailbone. Inhale. Exhale, push back into child's pose. If this bothers your knees or this is too intense, you can take a pillow or blanket stacked underneath the knees and sit here on the hips. Otherwise, releasing head forward, arms reaching out. Breathing into your back, expanding in the ribs. Inhale, coming back to table. We're going to make our way onto our back. Knees bent. Slowly lower down. Feet are hip width and they're getting pretty close underneath you as long as you can keep your heels down. You don't want your heels lifted up. Heels pressing into the earth. We're going to go for bridge. Inhale. As you exhale, tuck your tailbone. Start to peel your spine off the floor. Bottom, middle, top, up as high as you can. If this is too intense, you can come down. You could take a block or a pillow or a blanket underneath you and then just rest on that, a little supported bridge. Otherwise, hips pressing open, tailbone is tucking towards in between the knees here. We're going to walk our shoulders underneath us, opening the heart. Little space here between the chin and the chest. Careful not to tuck. Create some space. If you have the mobility, you can interlace the fingers, working towards straight elbows. Opening the front body. Inhale. Exhale, release. Slowly lower top, middle, bottom. Take a moment to settle. Pull right knee into the chest, then left knee. Giving it a squeeze. Maybe taking a little rock. Take arms out into a T, palms up. Inhale. Exhale, both knees to the right. If you'd like, right hand could be resting on the knee. Neck feeling healthy, gaze to the left. Allow the left shoulder to be heavy. Inhale, bringing knees to the chest. Giving them a little squeeze again, broadening in the back. Palms open, face up. Inhale and exhale. Knees to the left, gaze to the right. Right shoulder is heavy. Inhale, coming back. Feet on the floor. I'm going to take a little bit of a Shavasana, our final pose, resting. Legs can be straight, taking up space. Palms up. If your low back is a little tight, like mine is a lot of the times, you can bend the knees. You can place a blanket or a pillow underneath the thighs or knees. You could even take blocks underneath as a little bit of support, and that'll create a little support in the low back. Otherwise, settling in, breathing, softening forehead, allowing your jaw to release. Allow your shoulders to be heavy. Take rest. If you are able to take a longer Shavasana, you have the time. You can pause the video for a moment. Otherwise, we're deepening our breath, making small movements in our hands and our feet. Inhale, straighten through legs, arms reach overhead, taking a deeper breath into the body, stretching from fingertips to toes. Inhale here. Exhale, pull one knee at a time into the chest slowly, squeezing, maybe rocking a little bit. Finding our way to our right side. Resting our head on our arm, pausing for a moment, returning to that place of gratitude. When you're ready, you'll press into your hands, coming up to a seated position. Eyes can remain closed or a soft gaze, hands to heart center. Bow your head gently. Chloe. Thinking of the things we are grateful for, taking that with us on through our day. I'm grateful for you, Chloe. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. The light within me honors and recognizes the light within you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me. If you like the video, please like and subscribe below. If there's anything you're interested in me covering, please leave a comment. Thank you.